Hello! And you join me today on a commute back in a beautiful sunshine. Nothing particularly special today, but I wanted to talk to you about something, and it's sort of come to my attention from another YouTuber called Code Grey. Now, Code Grey was talking about an accident that he had, which was a hit and run. Go and check him out. I'll put a link up to his video in the description down below. And what Code Grey was talking about was he got hit, not completely knocked off his bike, but he got hit and the person just drove off. Now, this reminds me of very many moons ago. Myself, I had an accident back on my trusty little Honda Bros 400, which I've talked about in previous videos. Basically, what it was, I got hit very hard from behind by a white van very many moons ago, probably pushing about 20 years ago now, maybe even longer than that. And I'll set the scene. So basically what happened was my dad and I, my dad being on his YZF 1000 X-Up and me on my Honda, we're going to go out for a ride. Now, for whatever reason, I said to him that I would meet him at the destination or meet him somewhere along the lines, and I was in front of him, and it was only a little way from my house, about 5 minutes from my house at the time. I was living with my parents still, and I'm riding along. I've come to a junction where people are turning right into a junction, so I pulled up behind a car and I'm waiting for my turn to move forward. There's no other way around the car, you couldn't go around it. It was quite a narrow sort of country road. And what happened was, I'm sitting there minding my own business, and I heard this almighty screech of tyres, and wallop, I was hit up the backside. The bike went straight off in front of me, down off the road. I went over the roof, landed behind the van, and the van proceeded to accelerate away at a rate of knots and disappear. Now, in the meantime, obviously all the bystanders were able to help me out, and they called the ambulance, and my dad turned up, and it was a huge chaos. But I myself, probably thanks to my age and everything else, was absolutely fine. I wasn't actually hurt. The only thing that hurt was the fact that my pride and joy was laying on the floor about 30 feet away, and I was pretty upset about that. Now, the worst thing was the police wouldn't pursue the van due to their persuasion of where they came from, because everybody witnessed it going into a certain area, and I will not mention on my channel what sort of area that was, and would not pursue the van. They would not go down and find out who had caused the problem. My dad was ready to go down there, and the police advised them that if he went to the area, that they would arrest him for the breach of peace. So luckily I wasn't hurt. The bike was a wreck, but I did manage to fix it. So anyway, I went to my insurance company and I said, look, what can I do? But I was only insured third party at the time. I wasn't insured fully comp. I couldn't afford fully comp, being a new rider, etc, etc, and young and zero experience. They said that they had the number plate, so the insurance company went off to pursue them. After a couple of weeks of me chasing them, they eventually came back and said that the number plate was found, the car was found, the owner was found, but they're uninsured, and there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is go to the Motor Insurance Bureau, who help out uninsured drivers. And to this day, I have still not received payment. The Motor Insurance Bureau would not pay out because they believed there wasn't enough evidence to say that that person had hit me. So that's where I was left. I was in my 20s, bad accident, someone else's fault, with nowhere to go. And that's it. You hit and run drivers are a menace, and the only reason that they bugger off after hitting you is because they are not properly insured, or their documents don't match, or whatever, because they're going to get in more trouble if they stay around. And yeah, and the problem is that the likes of you and me are the ones that are penalised for then not being insured, not having the right documentation. Is that fair? Of course it's not. The only way to get around it was be everybody not in paying for insurance, not doing the right documentation. But that's never going to happen, because you and me are law-abiding citizens, and the only way you're going to fix that is to have a reason, a good deterrent to be insured, you know. And there isn't enough of a deterrent, and we can prove that because so many people get away with it. Shocking. Now, Code Greys was in America, and his videos are great, and it just shows you the difference between his roads and our roads. They go on forever, they're long and straight, they're wide. Still doesn't mean you're going to get knocked off your bike and have exactly the same experiences that we do over here. Now, I like to think these days that I'm a lot more careful, and I check my mirrors a lot. Now, obviously, checking my mirrors isn't going to stop me getting hit out the backside by some plonker who's going too fast around a corner. I do feel like I'm more aware. I don't actually need anybody to knock me off my bike these days. I just like falling off. Obviously, if you fall off, that's your fault, but you're insured, you're covered, you know. That's what you get insurance for. You can't help someone else hitting you and not being insured. That isn't your fault, and there should be more done about that. Definitely should be more done about that. I tried to, on a different note, I tried to record the sound of my bike for a video, and it didn't come out very well, so I'm researching how I can better do that. What I did was I tried taking my microphone out of my helmet and just sticking it in my back pocket, connected directly to the camera. It sort of worked, but there was a lot of popping and banging from the recording, and I think it's probably because the bike's so loud, and with it in my back pocket, it was just right on top of the exhaust. So that's a work in progress. I'm going to try and sort something out on that front, but I might need to buy a bit of hardware, so that'll have to wait until next month, possibly, or the next ride, or no, not the next ride I'm talking about. But it has been really nice to get back on the MT-01. Definitely enjoying it. Already needs a good clean. I hope you've been enjoying the channel, and I hope you're enjoying my socials, my Facebook and my Instagram. Check out the links below, they're all there. And I think I'll end it there. So if this is your first time watching my channel, please give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. Very much appreciate the subscribers, and definitely appreciate the thumbs up and the views. And I'll see you next time on Tom's TC.